Hey, howdy. So, I messed up. First off, you might notice the amount of time is different. That's because I played a whole session of this game and then realized that I wasn't recording my voice. So I had to play an extra hour of YIIK than was necessary, but that also means that I'm going to breeze through this next section of the game. Because I did spend the first 20 minutes of that session wandering around like an idiot. The next part of the objective is right here. This
Alex,
weirdo.
you grew a beard!
As the young man got closer, my bewilderment grew. His name was Michael. He was a good kid, a bit younger than me, and usually worth a laugh or two. My hand covered my eyes to block the sunlight to see him better. I thought back to the last time I had seen him. For some reason, I couldn't place any memories of him since before high school, but I knew I must have seen him since then.
College makes you into a man.
Makes you into something.
What have you been up to?
Just took the SATs. That's about it.
Sounds intense. How do you think you did?
I was on the edge of my seat the whole time. But then I realized how uncomfortable it was to sit at the edge of my seat, so I sat normally.
I hate to say it, but this guy is also kind of a dick. Less of a dick than Alex, but still kind of a dick.
What?
We're not going to see the... I mean, like, Sammy was kind of bearable, but we won't see the first bearable
Anyway,
character
you
for a
look
bit.
good. Well, maybe a few pounds heavier. Guessing you didn't major in exercise science.
Har har, very funny. Liberal arts.
Burn in 3, 2, 1.
Great. What do you do with that?
Blast off. I made that joke last session. I swear it was a lot funnier when I didn't know it was coming.
Have any fun plans for the summer?
Nothing really. Just got back yesterday. I already spent the day chasing a cat and exploring that old factory by the water tower.
Oh wow, that sounds awesome! Hey, have you ever heard of urban exploration? There's this great website called www.onism1999.com. I think you'd really get a kick out of it.
Who the hell says www dot? I guess it makes a bit more sense because it's the 90s, but still.
These guys break into old buildings and take photos. Usually the places they explore have some sort of urban legend behind them or a ghost story. Most of the stuff is legit and pretty damn creepy.
Did you say Onism 1999? Someone sent me a video from there yesterday. What else do you know about that site?
It's like a conspiracy theory support group. People from all over the world post about political conspiracies, local myths, stuff like that. You don't look so good, dude. Everything okay?
Okay, so it's basically 4chan. Got it.
It's something from that page. It's been screwing with my brain.
What exactly did you see on there that has you so freaked out?
I don't know if you saw it or not. It was the one with the girl in the elevator, the one who gets lifted off the ground.
That was supposed to be filmed locally. I couldn't bring myself to watch it, but all those sick bastards made the gif of her being thrown around like a rag doll. Poor girl. After that went up, everyone on the forum started acting strange, like a sort of darkness had come over the website. It's the first time something like that had been posted that people weren't immediately calling a fake.
A darkness has taken hold of 4chan.
Something about the look of horror in her face. There's a sick part of people that want it to be real, you know?
Yeah. Michael, when I first got to town and I saw that,
There was part of me that wanted to tell Michael everything, to get it all out in the open. But I couldn't bring myself to say it. There was something that felt personal, almost intimate about my meeting with Sammy.
Okay, so I should address this now.
We were linked. It was from my eyes.
Oh, I'll wait for him to stop yapping.
Memory was from my thoughts only.
There's this weird sort of like half romance between Alex and Sammy that it's just it is truly bizarre, and it's especially it is very icky considering that Alex is basically a self-insert, and again, Sammy is based on the real story of real story is kind of a difficult thing to say about an unsolved mystery, but it's her. She's based on a real person who was involved in an unsolved mystery about a woman disappearing from an elevator shaft. So
But I
it's
needed to
just
talk to someone
gross.
about the
It's
situation,
gross and it's
so I proceeded with caution.
disrespectful and a whole lot of other things.
All over that factory yesterday. And I swear, the elevator in there was the same one as in the video.
I think these two are both self-inserts, but we'll see more of that as we get further in.
I know that sounds weird, but I really think that video was filmed there.
Really? Okay, let's
God,
check
this
it out then.
pose. This pose makes me laugh literally every time because it's Woody and Buzz from Toy Story. It's that one picture of Woody, like, oh, I forget who has their hand over whose shoulder. I think it's Woody with his arm around Buzz's shoulder. Conspiracies everywhere.
What? Really? You want to go?
Yeah, why not? Do you mind if we run to the camera shop in Frankton really quick? I was getting my camera repaired. If we go in, I'm gonna want to take pictures. Photos would be like gold on Onism.
Yeah, sure. Let's just go quick.
My man, your face is built like a me.
The building isn't going anywhere anyway. Besides, the whole thing is probably a hoax. I checked the paper this morning and there wasn't a mention of a missing Frankton girl.
Yeah, okay. Let's just not. let
Both of
anyone
these
use
characters
the
have me faces. May as well grab this because I forgot to last time. And again, something that took me ages to notice before. The place we were supposed to go is just go
way.
right.
They opened up an arcade in Frankton? That's awesome! Wow! How long has this been here?
They opened it about 3 weeks ago. I still haven't gone in. I've been waiting until they fixed my camera so I could get some great photos of the place. I hear they have a bunch of import games.
Import games? From where?
It's the 90s, so you have two options. You have America and you have Japan.
Japan, mostly.
Aren't, like, all games made in Japan?
Well, at least the good ones are. Although there are some good RTSs on PC I've been playing lately, and I'm pretty sure those are made in the US.
Yeah? I never got into those kind of games myself. Always been more of an RPG guy.
RPG games are seriously the best! Chrono Trigger, Lufia 2, Secret of Mana? Those games are like the holy grail of my youth!
I said it before, I'll say it again. This is the first time you've heard me say this. I feel like curling inward on myself like a paper doll, bringing up real ass names of games. It's like, oh, I love RPGs. I love Final Fantasy VII. Stares directly at the screen.
I seriously don't think I'd be the person I am today if it wasn't for them.
Ever play Two Brothers?
This is what makes me think that these characters are self-inserts. Let me tell you a little bit about Two Brothers. Two Brothers was the first game that was made by these developers. And it has a little bit of notoriety, kind of like YIIK, and again, not for good reasons. So, two things you want to know about Two Brothers. From what I've heard, it's, like, as far as, like, gameplay and design, it's fairly unique and interesting. It's one of those, like... It's one of those games that just fawns over the good old days of pixel art and old RPGs and Final Fantasy and stuff like that, but apparently it's done with a decent amount of grace. The downside is that it is unfathomably buggy, to the point that it's damn near unfinishable. Well, I would be saying that if you could actually still play it on Steam, you can't. As it happens, the game is currently delisted on Steam. The reason being, not only is it exceptionally buggy, there was a plagiarism incident. We'll get back to plagiarism incidents a bit later with YIIK as well, but for Two Brothers, what you need to know is there is some music in that game that caused the developers to get put through the ringer a little bit, because the music that was used was chiptune covers of Shadow of the Colossus music. Oops.
That's a sort of ARPG, although its focus really isn't on combat.
And a word to the wise, to those of you that want to get into making games, I know that this this game really is an open book for a bunch of things to not do when it comes to making games. If you're going to reference your other games inside of newer games that you're making, you better hope to God that your games are well received, because if they're not, you're gonna end up with a lot of egg on your face.
Two brothers? Nope. That's a terrible name for a game, though.
Hardy har. It's like,
Sounds like a diner or a pizza place. Those guys really should work on their naming conventions.
it would be such a horrible blemish on the record of these developers. At least it would be if they didn't also make YIIK a postmodern RPG. They got a couple of blemishes, but maybe I'm ragging on these devs a little bit too much.
Anyway, let's hit up the arcade really quick after we get your camera, and then head over to the factory. I just want to step in to smell that combination of grease and BO.
What?
Yeah, let's do that then. Really? Grease and BO, dude?
The stupid Earthbound spooky music is still playing. I wonder if that's gonna stop after we walk in and out of the arcade. Oh yeah, your stupid camera. It is... Where are you? There you are. What is with the girl over on the left? Her eyes were literally facing in different directions. Also, I can't place the name of this, but this is this is definitely sampled classical music. I don't remember the name of it. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head, but like, I have to get a job. Ew. That was pretty sick. One strength up and that's it. It's probably worth it. Can I sell? No, I can't even sell. I don't know if there's a... Oh, wait. There was a kid who mentioned a pawn shop. I wonder if I have to go there to sell shit. But let me explain something about sampling in soundtracks. If you're sampling from something, you better have a damn good reason to be sampling. Otherwise it does not look good on you. You would better be, if you're sampling as part of your soundtrack, it had better be for a really important moment. It better either tie in thematically, or that's the whole point of your soundtrack, is that it's a bunch of samples. Like, The End is Nigh is one of those games that I think does that really well, because its soundtrack is just a metric ton of classical music. And depending on where you look, it's either rock covers of classical music, which is awesome, or it's chiptune covers of classical music. And some people, I've heard people say that the soundtrack is a little derivative, and I kind of see it, but I love that sound. I love the soundtrack of that game. I go so far as to say that it's The End is Nigh's best feature. The soundtrack is phenomenal. Because it's Ridiculon being Ridiculon. It's one of their best works besides the new music added in The Binding of Isaac Repentance. The dolly zoom.
Yes! This place is the bomb! Wow! This is a lot better than I expected! There's so many beat arcades around.
Does that girl live in Frankton? I don't think I've ever seen her before.
I don't know. She's ancient anyway.
You know, at first I thought he was being serious, and this art style, man, I genuinely cannot tell. For all I know, she could be 45, and for all I know, she is 45. She looks exactly the same age as Alex because of these character models.
26?
Hey now, that's really not that...
Whatever. You're ancient too.
Let's come back here later. We should get to the factory.
You know what? Honestly, based. There are very few jobs where you can tell someone to piss off when they just come over to talk to you, and they don't have any actual business. So honestly, you go, girl. You gotta win small victories like that when you're working a job like that. I have to wonder what weird field ability I'm gonna need to break these rocks, because I know I'm gonna have to break these rocks eventually. Can't use Dolly, obviously, and I can't use Panda. So I imagine I'm gonna get a third, maybe a fourth. There's only slot. I don't quite get the point of having a whole menu if there's only 3 pets to swap between, but whatever. You do you, game. Also, I tested it on my own time. I mean, during that playthrough that I had to scrap because there was no voice audio. Someone dropped something. But Dolly does not do damage. All they do is stun enemies, which whoopee. It isn't that useful. Like, watch. Hey, you. There we go. It plays a perfectly generic RPG sound and it stuns them. Hamburguesa. Ooh, the door's open now. Spooky. Okay, fine. I thought my game was soft locked for a second, but it was just taking a really long time.
Could have imagined a being made of stars, the entire galaxy, no, the universe maybe, compressed into the silhouette of one entity. It hadn't noticed us at first. We were as insignificant to him as the trillions of stars at its core.
I'm just gonna immediately run, because this fun fact, this fight is impossible. Though a cute thing is that there are unique things that happen when you try and run away. And I actually quite like that. That's interesting. I love how he just saw this like life-changing event, but outside of dialogue, he just has the same 1,000-yard stare in all scenarios. I feel like they could have done a lot more with that. But I mean, when you're talking about things to change in a game like this, the minor details like that are not the first thing that come to mind.
What the hell was that?
What the hell is going on?
Well, what just happened?
What? Can you even believe what just happened?
Oh man, dude! We need to get your photos developed!
Developed? This thing is digital, baby!
So what now? Do we just leave?
I'm gonna go with yes!
God, what do those things remind me of? The like
Once again,
the plug things from Deltarune. That's what they remind me of.
frightened,
The wear wires.
confused, and once again, I didn't have Sammy with me.
Something else I noticed is that during the loading screens it pops up with tips, and the tips are like life advice. It was I didn't catch all of that, but it was like showering frequently can get rid of body odor or something like that. I am 100% going to forget where you live, dude. Hey, dog. Oh, I didn't even notice that. I didn't even notice this before. Oh shit! Equipment. Jeez, that's really good. That's really good to just casually find.
While we waited for Michael's camera to transfer the photos, we began to talk.
I was talking to my cousin about this recently. The lifelong implications of seeing something actually, undeniably supernatural. Specifically, your reflection doing something that you were not doing.
Speaking of reflections, I just want to point out the difference between the character portraits and the actual in-game models. I happen to think the character portraits don't look terrible. Some of Alex's like talk sprites look a little weird, and you can kind of see his model jiggling around a little bit because something's not lined up properly. And then you look at the in-game models. Michael looks dead inside.
He has a 6-year-old daughter. She's really precocious. Apparently, she told my cousin that when she looked into the mirror, she was smiling, but that she knew she wasn't smiling. When I thought about that, I knew it would destroy any respect you had for the rules of life or the boundaries of what could happen. I asked him what he said, and he just shrugged his shoulders and said, kids say weird shit. I pushed him a little bit on the subject later on after he had a few drinks in him, and he said that it scared him to picture his daughter and another version of his daughter in the mirror, smiling when the other looked so miserable. He told me that his wife said his daughter was just confused, that she probably felt sad but was smiling from having fun playing. So inside she wasn't smiling, but outside she was. Maybe she couldn't understand what it meant to look happy outwardly, but feel inwardly depressed. Like as if her vocabulary wasn't enough to express depression. But I don't know. She is a smart kid, and somehow it felt wrong.
The reflection smiled at her? That's really creepy. Have you ever had any other experiences with paranormal stuff? Like before?
Not really. I've always had a bit of an interest in it. I always thought that these sort of things follow certain people around.
Oh god, it's like JoJo. It's just the logic of, oh, there are just some people in this world where crazy shit just happens to them, and that's just the way that things are.
Like there's something that picks a particular person and forces them to see all the weirdness that others miss out on.
It's the JoJo slash Gravity Falls slash what's the other one? Not Jujutsu Kaisen. There's another thing comes to mind that has that same kind of thing.
I don't know. It's just kind of been my thing for a while. Conspiracies, ghosts, missing people, things like that.
When did you first get into this sort of thing?
I can't remember one thing that really pulled me in. My parents always fell asleep watching TV. I used to sneak into their room and watch those missing persons shows while they were sleeping. Once your mom finally got internet to Frankton, I started checking out some of the more paranormal websites.
Are you stealing my internet, buddy?
Before long, I realized that the information was too scattered. I spent a few weekends learning HTML, and before I knew it, Onism 1999 had over 15,000 hits each week.
Yep, he's the founder of 4chan.
Wait, you were involved with making Onism 1999?
You didn't know that? I figured that's why you kept talking to me about the missing Asian girl.
No, I just needed to get all that off my chest. Look, Michael, I need to be entirely honest with you.
Well, to be honest, he looks like the kind of guy that would have founded 4chan.
But, yeah, just promise me you won't think I'm insane or anything.
Okay, fair enough. What did you lie about?
I met the girl who went missing. Her name is Sammy. I had followed a cat into the abandoned factory, and I found her there. She had been looking for a cat. I just assumed the cat hung out there and she had gone in to try and find him when he didn't go back home. But the thing is, she said some really strange stuff. Stuff about living in the factory, pretending not to know what elevators were. Well, okay, maybe not pretending. I think she really didn't know what they were. There were weird gaps in her knowledge that I had interpreted as her being quirky, but now I wonder if there was actually something really wrong with her.
Me when people think I'm quirky, but I actually have deep-seated developmental disorders.
You saw her yesterday, right? So you saw her after she went missing? That's actually a good thing, Alex. This means she wasn't taken by some serial killer or a rapist.
It means she was swallowed up by a being made of stars and planets. How is that better?
I'm never gonna get over that sprite.
Fair enough. So what was her
I don't
last
care
name?
what situation it
Did
would
she
end
tell you
up
that
being.
much?
It ends up in. It's always
Maybe
gonna
we
look
can check online
goofy.
for a missing persons report. You could call the police and tell them you know where the video was taken.
I don't know. There still is a part of me that thinks that, like...
What, that you dreamed it? Dude, I don't know. That would be a pretty specific dream. So you think you went into the factory, came home, and then had a really realistic dream where you met a missing girl you hadn't seen before?
But... You see, she didn't exactly look like the girl in the video. There was something skeletal about her appearance. Something otherworldly.
Otherworldly?
Yeah. Dude, just forget I said it. Did the pictures upload?
Yeah, let me pull them up. How is this possible? They completely distorted the photos!
Called it.
Holy shit!
Okay, well, yeah, this is pretty otherworldly.
It was as if someone had cracked an egg over my head. What trickled out was hot dread, a feeling of pure anxiety.
Classic paranormal film stuff. Oh no! I took pictures of the monster, but the pictures came out all wrong. Isn't that literally the plot of Super 8?
All of my fears were confirmed. What I was experiencing was real. There was no doubt about it.
Something about like kids taking pictures of paranormal stuff, and they get like tracked down by the government because the things on the photo would expose some grand government conspiracy or something like that.
We uploaded the photos to Onism 1999 and waited for an explanation. We had our doubters, but more people wanted to believe than not. And with each reply, Sammy got pushed further away from the forefront of the discussion.
Yeah, his sprite like bobs up and down a tiny bit. Something is definitely misaligned.
I explained how the building was the same one from the elevator girl video, that everyone was more concerned by the creepy figures in the photo.
I want to say that it's intentional, but Michael's sprites don't move at all, so it seems like it's probably unintentional.
I slowly realized that everyone on this forum wanted the content to be true. They needed it to be. A few people tried to explain why the photos were distorted, but most people believed it to be ghosts, or the devil, or other stupid things like that. I considered myself something of a philosopher in college. I thought I had answers, but now that I've come face to face with the otherworldly, I know now that every person who tells you about spirituality, dead people and all that have no idea what they're talking about. Someone told a lie and it somehow stuck. I told the truth, and it just gets muddied up by that same ancient myth.
Whatever you say, Socrates.
With the exception of my post, most of the things on that forum seemed like lies. That wasn't until about 2 weeks after my post, when a user posted something about a girl who could rip holes in time and space. I wouldn't have believed it myself, but he had photos. And we had seen the girl before.
I wonder what girl it would be. The only girl we've interacted with so far.
So you realize we've seen this chick before, right?
Besides the one in the elevator, but we know what happened to her. Or maybe we don't really?
Where? Wait.
Knew you'd get there eventually. It's that old lady from the arcade.
Jeez, enough of that old crap. She's probably our age.
Don't lump me in with you 20-somethings. I have a bright future ahead of me.
The Woody and Buzz thing, it just... I can't get over it. I can't see... that is exactly what this is. Hang on. Let me find the image. Okay, so it's not exact. Hang on. One moment. I mean, it's pretty close. It is pretty damn close. Alright, I'm done with this bit. Hang on.
Oh, if only you knew. Just wait till you're done with college. You'll be...
Boring and fat like the rest of your graduating class? I'm looking forward to it. In the meantime, I will continue to be my interesting, slim, nubile self.
Nubile?
I stand by my statement. Anyway, let's take another look at those photos.
Wow. It's just so unbelievable.
Mind showing us the photos, Socrates?
What is the likelihood that this is a thing?
It's incredibly unlikely. But since we've got nothing better to do, let's say we visit Ye Old Arcade for some air hockey and interview an interdimensional traveler.
Oh yeah, apparently there are cars here now. And they do the GTA thing where you get anywhere near them and they bark at you.
So, you gonna talk to her?
Are you kidding me? That's totally your job. Just man up and say something to her.
Nah, I don't think I should. It'd be, good for you to learn to talk to girls before you go away to college.
I know how to talk to girls. But she is a senior citizen, man. What is she, like, 27? Ew. That's your thing, man.
I told you to cut it out with the age crap. She's probably no older than 24. And besides, aren't you the nubile one? You're much more desirable.
Yes, that's true, I am.
Listen here, boys. We have a zero creeping on women policy here. If you'd like to ogle some women, I'm sure your mothers would love it if you were home in time for supper.
Get their ass. Introducing the first character that I can actually stand.
It's not that. It's just we have this photo of you that we
You've been taking photos of me? Wow. You guys are even more screwed up than I thought. Can't say you'd be the first pervs I've thrown out of this place. Ah!
So, there are new action commands. I honestly cannot tell if they're based on the fight or based on the environment or what. But so far, Vella is the only encounter that I've seen that has these action commands. Hey! The full 6 damage. Or the full 6-hit combo and it did 6 damage. Excellent. Is this actually gonna work? Oh, Jesus! That was a miss? Come on. Also, is there ever going to be a point where I can do the record thing more than twice? Oh, damn it. I keep forgetting that is a new action command. To be perfectly honest, this fight is a forced loss, but there's something that I want to show. I wonder when she's gonna do it. Damn it. The best you could manage, huh? It was literally perfect, but okay. Right, this. Yes, this is what I was looking for. With the steel chair. Just instantly Family Guy fall over. You're next, photo boy. Bonk. I love him
Okay.
staring off into space for a second and then just crumbling.
Creepy.
Then why were you taking photographs of me?
Hey, we didn't take the photos. Someone on the internet did.
That doesn't help your case.
Someone on the internet? What are you talking about?
If you'd stop slamming our heads together for 1 minute, we'd love to explain.
Okay, explain.
There's this website where people post conspiracies and other weird things, and there's this photo of you, like, exploding things with your mind.
Exploding things with my mind. I haven't done that in a while, so I'm sure it's an old photo.
She kind of looks like Mavis from Hotel Transylvania, actually. That image popped into my head and now I...
do that.
Of course
It's interesting.
I can't. Not with my mind, at least. This goes against all the better judgment I have in me, but can you take me to a computer to show me these photos?
Yeah, sure. I live like 5 minutes from here.
Oh, come on. Oh, there's someone else here now. I wonder if I can actually place any of these games. Oops. God. The Final Fantasy VII camera in full effect. But I gotta say, Vella coming in with the steel chair is probably my favorite moment of this game so far. Because again, Vella is the first character I found in this game who is actually tolerable. When the best character in the game so far is this game's equivalent of Morgana, or up until this point, is Morgana before Vela, it doesn't look good. I'll say that much. But it seems like it's improving, ever so slightly. Now that there are characters that are not Alex on screen constantly.
That's me. Just, I don't know when these were taken.
How exactly do you explain all the blowing stuff up with your mind things? Can you really do that?
It's not exactly with my mind. I use sound. Remember when I kicked your ass earlier? I used the sound of my keytar to deal physical damage.
I use the sound of my keytar connecting with your skull.
If you study the physical properties of sound, you can learn enough about acoustics to both heal and damage objects orally.
Where did you learn to do something like that?
Grad school.
Oh, years of private practice and studying, really. So tell me more about this website. What is Onism 1999?
Basically, it's a place on the internet for people to talk about conspiracies, the occult, and anything supernatural.
Seems like something boys would like. Do you recognize the location from these photos?
That's behind the old grocery store. Obviously, you've been there before.
Interesting.
What's your name, by the way?
My name's Vella Wild. It's interesting to meet you. I'm guessing you're a cameraman, and this is your sidekick, Ginger Boy?
Usually I go by Alex. Only my mom is allowed to call me Ginger Boy.
Alright, Ginger Boy.
She really gets us. You really would be my sidekick, Alex. Cameraman by day, Michael by night.
Right. So, why do you two spend all your time on such odd websites? Do you really believe this stuff?
Michael and I spent the next hour or so recounting the events of me finding Sammy, and us running into the star creatures inside of the old factory. As we told the story, Bella just looked into my eyes and never reacted. I first began with trepidation. As I went on, I could tell she was doing her best to understand my story. Something felt familiar about her. But not in the I've met her sort of way. Something deeper. I dated a girl in college who was a women and gender studies major. She told me that she believed men and women were all the same at our core. That we were all made of the same elements. Not just on a physical level, but in a metaphysical level. She was a strong believer in spirituality. Although she'd be the first to tell you she wasn't religious.
Weren't you just saying before that spiritualists are full of shit?
She told me she believed everyone had soulmates. Plural. A series of people we were compatible with. In her theory, this applied to friendship as well as romantic relationships. She said that when the universe was created, all matter was one object. And that since we're all matter, we are all the same. She said that she believes our soulmates were cut from the same section of that initial piece of matter. That unexpected feeling of familiarity you feel when you meet someone for the first time means you were meant to meet. I personally didn't believe it. I still don't think she has all her facts straight. But every time I feel what I felt when Vella looked in my eyes, I thought of this explanation.
Did you manage to speak with the entities?
The entities? I guess you mean the star creatures.
Did you talk with the Starmen or not?
Yes, those are the ones.
No, we were too busy running for our lives.
Did you try and take photographs of them, Michael?
Yeah, let me pull them up.
Vella told us things. Confusing things. Things that, under normal circumstances, I wouldn't have believed.
This track is weird. This music track is weirdly loud. I don't
The
know
way
why.
she spoke seemed two-sided. As if for a few moments, a side of her that she was trying to keep hidden was visible. And as soon as we noticed, she made to cover herself up. She made jokes more often than she was serious. But when the serious aspect of her personality appeared, I was convinced that's who she really was. This was almost more fascinating than the information she was giving us.
Get to the point, Socrates.
That's the thing with people, isn't it? You could show them all the mysteries of the universe, but if they're distracted by the human element of the tale, they'll shift all of their attention there. Self-consumed with humanity. Self-consumed with other people. You know? It's just how people are.
My experience with them is limited, but what I've observed was powerful. I understand that what I'm about to tell you will sound like a lie, so I ask you to look past the words I'm saying and hear the truth behind them. A short time ago, I entered into a dark place, both physically and metaphysically. While I was there, I encountered... I can't say what about their presence was so striking to me, but the moment I saw them, I felt something. Something that was weighted. Like their bodies took up the entirety of the room, as if they were the room. At first, I approached one and we spoke. However, the contents of the conversation isn't important to the story.
Aren't important, not isn't important.
Something I said upset it, and it tried to grab me. It was almost like a mother trying to smother its child. The pain was beyond description. It scared me to death. The entity was incredibly heavy. I managed to break free, but the weight of the thing remained on me. And for the entirety of the following week, it was as if someone was twisting a drill inside me. My head would throb, and the pain felt bone deep. You probably can't imagine what it was like, you two, but just the thought of the pain now brings tears to my eyes.
I reflected on her story. I wanted to reply, but something inside me told me to let the words hang in the air. It was as if the longer the pause between her words and mine, the more truth they carried. Finally, I spoke.
That's horrifying. But can you explain what you mean by entered a dark place? Or more importantly, physically and metaphysically?
What are words, really? Can you explain that to me?
I can understand doing it physically and mentally, but I need some help with the meta part.
Metaphysical is a word. An adjective, to be more specific. It means pertaining to or of the nature of metaphysics.
All right, we're getting into this. Another major problem with this game is that it likes to lift sentences and phrases wholesale from other places. Part of the reason why there's a references page on the title screen now, there wasn't before. And there's a lot of dialogue here that is just ripped straight from Merriam-Webster.
Metaphysics is the branch of philosophy that includes the first principles, includes ontology and cosmology, and is intimately connected with epistemology.
Like that.
Epistemology is, of course, a branch of philosophy that investigates the origin, nature, methods, and limits of human knowledge.
Hey, I wonder where that closed quotation mark came from.
Thank you for the definition, which I already knew. I was looking for something more concrete, more tangible.
I do like the idea of Vela reaching up and grabbing a book off the shelf and just like opening it up and reading the definition out of the book. You like books, smart guy? Try reading one.
I'm afraid that's all I feel comfortable telling you. I don't know you at all, and to reveal something so personal seems like I'd be opening myself up to vulnerability.
Do you mean to imply that you found a way to exist inside of a metaphysical space? That you...
Enough! I don't need to talk about this with you. It makes me uncomfortable. Don't you get that?
They definitely don't get that.
Okay, sorry. I didn't mean to piss you off.
Look, I need to get back to the arcade. I was technically in the middle of a shift. I'm gonna write my number down. Call me if you see any more interesting comments on my photos or have a run-in with the entities.
Wait, I have one more question before you go.
All right.
How did you get to be so powerful? You took both of us on and barely broke a sweat.
You act as if that's impressive. Look, I've trained myself in the metaphysical space, inside of the mind dungeon. I like you two, so I'm gonna let you in on a little secret.
It's mementos. You know, when I made jokes about this being Persona, I did not know that this was a thing.
Here is one last
And then I spoiled myself by
Call
looking
me
at
if you ever
some of
wanna
the
open your
achievements.
mind and expand your battle abilities. That's all I'll say for now. The guy on the other end can explain more.
Mementos is now available. It's literally this game is just Persona. I shouldn't reference Persona too
The way
much.
I look at
Then
it, we have two things we need to do.
that just puts me in a situation where I'm obligated to play Persona 5 Royal. Because I've never actually played it. I've seen playthroughs of it. Or I've seen playthroughs of the original game, actually not the Royal content.
If we want to hang out with Vella again, we're gonna need to train ourselves. Also, if we want to call her, we're gonna need to search Onism 1999 for some interesting posts.
Okay, simple enough. Go grind and then give Villa a call.
Yeah, but don't forget to search Onism 1999 for some good posts. She'll probably hang up on you and kick our butts again if we don't have anything cool.
Man, are we even cool enough to hang out with someone like her?
Nope! I'm still growing, and you're an overgrown man-child who can barely pick up a record. So let's head out of Frankton and try to find some things to beat up.
Sounds good. We should stock up on some healing items at the burger joint before heading out.
You play video games, right? Yeah. Weirdly enough, I like this visual.
Hey! Just calling to see if you figured it out. I would love to just come out and say it, but I think it would scare you to death. And that would ruin everything.
Nope. I haven't figured anything out. Look, if you're just gonna keep calling me and say vague, creepy shit, you should at least tell me your name.
Ah! It's your best childhood friend. Think back to when you met me. We were kids. I think Losing My Religion by R.E.M. had just become a big hit. My mom didn't want me listening to it because she was afraid it would turn me into a bad kid or something. I went over to your house and we listened to it on your stereo for hours. My mom came to pick me up from your house, heard the song, and freaked out. How can you not remember that? It was the funniest thing.
The story was so specific. It sounded so familiar, and yet I couldn't place it. It was like I had read it in a book somewhere or watched it on a TV show, but still, no particular name or date came to mind.
Yeah, you're right. You probably wouldn't remember that. Look, I'm going to keep calling you until you remember me. Remember what you used to say. Everything happens for a reason. That reason is nothing happens for any reason.
What a weirdo.
Mementos is now an option. I'm not doing it yet, but I'm going to. I'll do it next time. Oh boy. But that's all I got for now. This certainly is a game that exists. That's all I got. Thanks so much for watching.